How are you? In today's video, I'm going to teach you how you can take your pain and suffering and use it for your greater purpose, for the greater purpose of all. Now, you might be saying to yourself or thinking, or maybe even saying it right to this video, Tony, how the heck can I use my pain and suffering, not even for my own purpose, but for helping all, the world and all that stuff. And I want to get to that in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to welcome you. And I want to welcome you to the Model Dad Revolution, where we teach dads how to align with their true nature, find their happiness, find their freedom, find their clarity, and find their confidence so they can show up the way their daughters deserve. All right, so what is this story behind taking your pain and suffering and using it for your greater purpose? How is that even possible? How is that even remotely possible to be able to take your pain and suffering and use it for your good and for the good of others? So to answer that, I first want to share a story, and it's my story, and I wanted to share it very quickly. But I want to go back to 7 years ago when my wife passed away unexpectedly and I was left to raise my then 5-year-old daughter. And I was sitting with a mentor of mine, and we were going over the death, and I was going, why me? How'd this happen? I don't get it. It's painful. It hurts. The whole gamut. And he looks at me and he says, Tony, I don't know your pain. I've done a lot of funerals. And I've been to a lot of funerals. But I don't know your pain personally because I have not experienced that kind of loss. He goes, but I do know this. He says, God can make good out of bad because God is good. And I remember looking at him and getting so mad. And I said, how in the world is God going to make good out of losing my wife? She died tragically. How in the world is he going to make good out of it? He's not going to bring her back. If he can't bring her back, how is he going to make good? And my mentor looked at me very quietly and very humbly, said, Tony, I don't know. But in time, God will reveal that to you. He will reveal exactly how he's going to do that and how you're going to accomplish that. And here I am 7 years later. I wrote a book that shares my story, shares my journey, and shares how I healed from not only that pain, but from the pain of my childhood growing up with my dad, which I don't ever knock my dad. He did the best he could off of what he knew. And I have a pretty good relationship with him now. Not great, and it never will be, just for the simple fact that it's just who he is. And that's okay, but I love him anyway. I'm at a point now that I can love him for who he is and where he is and be okay with that because I'm good. I healed. So I wrote a book. And hundreds upon hundreds of people have used that to change their life around, who have been struggling, who've gone through divorce, who've gone through death, who have lost goals, who lost dreams, who never seem to be able to figure it out, who are trying to go on this journey of abundance and journey of life and finding themselves and finding their life. And it's changed their lives from reading this book. Then there's the fact that I'm the dad I am today. I wasn't the greatest dad. I wasn't the worst dad, but I wasn't the greatest. And I went through a healing process. And now, because of that, I teach other dads. I teach them how to align, how to awaken that power and that strength within them so they can show up the way their daughters need them to. But I had to take my pain and use it. I had to use my pain, use my suffering, and take that, heal from it, and now I can share it for my purpose, which is the greater purpose of all. And here's what I want to say to you. Whether you've lost a spouse, and you're in pain and you're struggling with that and it's been years or it's recent, whether you've lost a job, whether you've got divorced, whether you lost a child, whether you've gone through a million other things that have caused you pain and caused you suffering, I just want to let you know that pain and that suffering doesn't have to continue. You can heal from it. That pain and suffering that you're experiencing right now can be your strength, and it will be your strength, but you have to choose to allow it to strengthen you. And when you allow it to strengthen you, now you can show up in the power that is you, the powerful you. Now you can show up. Right now you may not see that because the world is your perception. And your reality is your perception of how you feel. And if you change the way you feel, and if you change the way that you're looking at your pain and your suffering, you can show up differently. And now you can use it to help other people. I can tell you this, I used to run from my pain. I used to run from my suffering because I didn't want to deal with it because it hurt so bad. So as a man, I would stuff it down. I would push it off saying, I'm okay, I'm good. Oh, things are great over here. I'm okay, whatever, I'm done, I'm good. But I wasn't good. And I prolonged and actually added to my suffering. And it became painful, and then it started showing up in other areas of my life. I would sabotage my successes. It affected my health. You know, so many illnesses are the cause of hidden pain that we don't even realize it's hidden. We seem like we're all right. And I got to a point where the facade, the mirage and the wall that I had up, I looked great on the outside. I looked confident, I looked happy, I looked successful, but I was freaking miserable inside. I felt miserable inside. And I felt like a fraud. I felt like a fraud to my daughter. I felt like a fraud to everybody that I knew. But I couldn't show it, and I wouldn't show it because I was in pain. But I couldn't show that pain. And it wasn't until I actually embraced the pain, I honored my feelings. I honored the pain. Yes, it hurt. But I can promise you this, the pain that I experienced while I walked smack dab into it, right in the middle of it, and I began to heal, that pain did not last as long. And I began to honor that pain and that suffering more and more. And then I learned that pain and the suffering and the feelings and the emotions that I had were a guide to show me what was going on, to show me the hidden blocks. A lot of people and a lot of coaches, they work on the cognitive side, the mind, right? But we are energy as well. We are 99% energy, which means we are spiritual by nature. And we're 1% matter. So if we're 99% energy, every experience that we've had, every trauma that we've faced, every challenge that we've gone through has shaped us. And those emotions get stored within. And if we don't honor those feelings, we don't honor those emotions and those events, we cause and wreak havoc on our lives. We cause and wreak havoc on our bodies. And we may be thinking that it's only our doing, it's only affecting us, but it's affecting everyone around us. It's affecting your daughters. It's affecting your spouses. It's affecting your job and your career. I can promise you this. If your focus is on just making money in your job and your career and your home life is not doing well, you will end up collapsing. It'll collapse. You may make a lot of money, but you're going to be miserable. Instead, why don't you work on your inside? Figure out what's going on, heal, so you can show up the way that you were destined to. So that you can have the freedom that you desire. So you can have the confidence and clarity that you can show up the way you're destined to. Now when you could show up the way that you want and you were meant to, now you can show up in your daughter's lives the way she needs you to. And now that you're showing up the way you need to and the way you want to, now you can teach her to show up happy, confident, and strong. She cannot be those things when you yourself are not happy, strong, and confident. You are not standing in your power and you're not standing in your strength because you're running from your pain and your suffering. Stop. I'm pleading with you. Stop. Release that. Jump in head first. Face the pain. It'll hurt, but it'll subside. And it'll become your biggest ally, and it'll become your biggest source of strength so that you can step in to where you need to. So you can step up the way your daughters need you to. She's going to choose a guy like you someday. She needs you to be present. Stop feeling like a fraud. Stop feeling like there's no way for you. That this is just how it's going to be. Maybe you've tried many times. And you always seem to go back to where you are because you have these hidden blocks. You're doing it one way that wasn't as effective. You're working on just the mind. If you work on the spiritual side of things, release those energy blocks, those hidden, trapped feelings, and emotions. Now you can align your heart, and when I say your heart, it's not your actual muscle, it's your subconscious, which is a part of your mind, but it's the deep down side of you, the deepest part of you. That is the heart of you. And when you can align your heart with your mind, your conscious mind, that's when magic takes place. See, you attract what you feel, what you are. You do not attract what you think and what you want. You maybe get bits and pieces, but you'll always sabotage. And then maybe this is why you keep going back and forth, back and forth. I know I did. I never seemed to get past my anger. And no matter how hard I tried, I would always go back. And of course, I was focusing on don't get angry, don't get angry, don't get angry. And guess what? I would ultimately get angry because what you focus on is what you get more of. But it's not just what you focus on, it's what you focus on with feeling and with emotion. So here's what I want for you, and I would love for you to do. Embrace your pain. That's number one. Embrace it. I know it sounds counterintuitive. We always want to run from pain. That's how the human body's designed, to gravitate as far away from pain as we possibly can and to gravitate towards all the pleasure we can. And if we have this pain, we want to run. There's so many people I know that are hurting and they're in pain and they're hiding behind that. They're stuffing it down. They don't want to talk about the pain because it's so painful. But what it's doing is it's causing their pain to be more intense, and it's causing health issues. It's causing struggles with their kids. It's causing struggle with their family and everyone around them. They're awesome, great people. They're loving people. But when you are stuck in your pain and your pain has a control of you, and you're stuck in a fear and this forceful moment, and that'll be another video, and it's forceful, your power is weakened, and you lose your identity. I want you to step up. Embrace who you are. Find who you are. Embrace your pain so that you can find who you are. Awaken your true nature. Align with it. And watch this magic happen inside you when you release this junk, when you release it all by embracing it. And number two, honoring it. You'll find more peace. You'll find more joy. You'll find your freedom. You'll find your confidence, and you'll find your clarity. And much, much more. Now you can show up the way you were meant to. Stop beating yourself up. Stop feeling like a fraud. Stop letting the pain control you, and use it to awaken your strength, to awaken that power, so that you can show up and use it for your purpose. Because your story, your pain and suffering, when you get to a great place of healing, is going to help someone else. That is how it's going to help the greater good, the greater purpose of all. Because you have a story. Each and every one of you has a story to share. Maybe not to the extent that I'm sharing it, but it is going to help someone else. It's going to help a lot of people. But you gotta face it. Stop running. Don't try to push it off. Don't try to be that tiring person who's trying to put this wall and this facade up, thinking, hey, look at me, I'm good, I'm great, I got my life together, everything's good, and then go home and be miserable. Go home and push your daughters away. Go home and push your wives away because you feel like a fraud and you feel like you failed them, and you don't want them to see that pain that you're experiencing because you can't show that pain. Drop it, face it, honor it, embrace it, love it. And watch what happens with your life. Your life will absolutely, absolutely change. I know that was a lot, and I know that was very passionate because that's a very, very passionate topic for me. There's pain and suffering. So many people are suffering. I see it in the world every single day. Dads, these schools, everything. It starts with us. It starts with us and how we show up. This is what I do every single day, helping dads realign with their true nature so they can awaken that strength and power within. Just release it. It's like a lion just coming free out of the den, just powerful in strength because they know who they are. And because they know who they are, now they have new clarity, they have new confidence, and they have freedom. And what does that give you? Freedom gives you the peace in chaos. That's the difference. There could be chaos going all around you, but you have freedom and peace in that because you know who you are and you're living it and you're being it. Stop doing and start being. You are a human freaking being, not a human doing. Be, live. Again, I know that was intense. I really know that's intense, but if this really resonated with you and you're thinking you would love some assistance or help with that, then reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. Let's see, for one, if and how I can help you. And if I can, great. We can take it to the next step and see how that relationship will work. And if it's not, check out the rest of my videos. Join the Model Dad Revolution Facebook private group. It's a community of dads just learning, and there's going to be some teachings and a lot of different topics being shared there as well if you're not ready for that. And then do me a favor, share this with other dads so they can benefit as well. And if you are available, I know I have a few things here, but if you are available next Wednesday, if you're in the St. Louis area, let me say that. If you're in the St. Louis, Missouri area, next Wednesday, the 14th at 1 p.m., I'm giving a free event. And it's called Breaking the Cycle. Changing the dynamic of what it means to be a man and dad so that you can show it the way your daughter deserves. And we're going to talk about everything I just talked about. Aligning with your true nature, awakening the power and strength within you so that you can create the happiness, the freedom, the clarity and confidence that you desire so you can show up the way your daughter wants, so she can grow up happy, strong, and confident, so that you can have a powerfully connected, loving relationship with her. And here's the cool thing, what you're going to learn and what I teach and what I coach on, the stuff I help you to raise your daughter and build that powerful relationship with your daughter. Here's the cool thing: you're actually going to build a stronger relationship with your wife as well. Because the things I teach you how to help your daughter is the same things that your wives or significant other needs. So do me a favor. I will have the links and the contacts to reach out to me. Share this. Schedule an appointment if you want to come to the event. If you're in the St. Louis, Missouri area next week, I will have the link for the details of that and how you can get your free ticket. All right. Anyway, I hope this has served you. Please share it. And as always, stay tuned for the next episode of the Model Dad Revolution. And always, dads, the way we show up determines how our daughters grow up.